with so many hackers online these days, it's even worse than it was, especially when the internet started out. Um, with so many hackers um, on the internet these days, it's so important, it's so crucial that if you have online forms, for instance, we utilize several online forms for people to fill out citizenship, for example. It is very important that the company or database that you go with for your online forms, for instance, has a very important and very secure connection and very secure database, because um, I'm not sure if it has happened to other micronations. I'm sure it might have in the past. I wouldn't know of any off the top of my head, but there have been a couple of attempts from either other micronationalists, um, other micronations in general, or just people in the general public who have attempted to breach Dracul databases to grab citizenship personal information such as names, addresses, telephone numbers, emails. Not sure if they were going to try and sell them or email them or just to say that they did it. It kind of ties into what Grand Duke Travis was talking about with the whole micronational warfare thing. You know, hacking, as we all know, is highly illegal, especially when it comes down to stealing personal information. And for if it was an attempt by a micronation, um, if a micronation did attempt to do that as a form of warfare, that's highly unethical and would be completely looked down upon by any righteous person in the micronational community if that was a form of micronational warfare against Dracul. I certainly hope it wasn't, because I certainly hold everyone in the micronational community to a high standard, as I'm sure many of us do. But it's very luckily the attempt failed because we had a very secure database and encryption, which did not allow them to breach through. So with that being said, coming back to my first point, it is very important that when you handle people's personal information, that you have it on a secure database that's encrypted, especially the secure socket layer, the SSL certificate. If you create a form on a website, such as, forms.com or JotForm or Zoho Forms or Google Forms or any type of form like that, and the website doesn't have an HTTPS with the little lock icon, probably not a good idea to make your form and host your data there, because that is a very good way for your personal data and others to get stolen. And if people's personal data gets stolen, you have an obligation to inform them that their data was involved in a data leak. And if you fail to inform them of that, and it is actually your fault and not the company's fault, let's say you give out someone's citizenship application to another micronation and they find out that you did that, you could be held personally responsible for that and possibly even civilly sued for that. So it is very important that you do not share other people's information. Nicholas of Flandrensis, Grand Duke Nicholas, touched on this in his presentation as well. You do not give other micronations your citizens' information in order to check double citizenships. I know a lot of micronations have policies on how many micronations you can hold citizenship with. Just don't do it. Do not share people's personal information with other micronations or other micronationalists unless they have an absolute logical serious reason for having that information. And then even with that, you have to trust that person too, who you're giving it to, because you don't know if they're going to give it to someone else who you don't know. So that's my little speech on personal data handling, and I certainly hope that that answered that question.